Hi, it's Michelle from Plentiful Plates, and I'm welcoming you to the Plentiful Plates Smoothie a Day Challenge. This upcoming May, we're going to embark on a really fun challenge that I hope you're as excited about as I am. So this year I wanted to introduce you by way of video to give you a brief overview of some tips and tricks that might make this smoothie challenge a little less challenging. So here we go. One thing that you'll want to do is when you receive the email from me, which will probably be about the Wednesday prior to the week that we're making the smoothie, you'll receive an email with the recipe as long as a few nutritional tidbits about the smoothie, as well as a grocery list for 1 week's worth of the smoothie. If you're making this for other members of your family or your husband or your partner, your wife, then you won't want to double the amount, quadruple if there's 4 of you. Having a little extra on hand is never a bad thing because some ingredients will be used week to week. So once you get that recipe list, check your inventory, see what you have in your pantry, in your freezer already. Take that list, modify it, take it to the grocery store, and get the ingredients that you'll need for the week. First tip, get the ingredients ahead of time. Another tip is to have things stocked in your freezer. So look for pre-frozen fruit. The fruit that's relevant to the recipe that we'll be making is a great option. In the grocery list, I'll be identifying a 600-gram bag. That's this size, the typical size you'll find in a grocery store. Look for bananas that, if you can, that are a little bit on the brown spotty side, or get them early enough so that they can go brown on your own counter. Peel them and pop them into a freezer bag or container and leave them in your freezer in full banana size pieces or half pieces if you like, which will help for quick and easy grabbing and making up in the morning. You can buy fresh fruit, so these are grapes here. Hint, they'll be used in this upcoming challenge. So I've just brought them home, washed them, destemmed them, dried them off a bit, put them in the freezer on a cookie sheet to dry individually, and then pop them into this bag. So easy access, easy measuring, and makes it a little bit quicker to make up in the morning. Another idea is to make ahead a package already. So for this one, we have our frozen banana. We would chunk it up into individual pieces so it'll be easy to grab. We can take a cup of pineapple and pop that in on top. So there you have your frozen fruit ready to go. And you can even then take the green of choice. So say there's spinach in this recipe that will be upcoming. You can take the spinach and add it in on top. You want to add it in on top because greens have a tendency to maybe not chop up as smoothly or as easily. They might get stuck in the blade, that type of thing. So it's a nice idea to have them on top because that'll be the first thing that goes in when you dump it in your blender. So a few tips. What you would do with this then, frozen fruit, you've got your greens, put a lid on it, make it up for as many smoothies as you want in the week. If 5 is going to help you through the busy weekdays, then you can just grab it out in the morning, pop it in your blender, and you'll be ready to go. Another tip that I want to just mention to you is to pre-freeze some of the liquids. So that one of the great things about smoothies is that they're creamy and cold, and they're just so delicious and sweet, and it makes them appealable. They're appealing to all age ranges, right? So kids really like the cold, kind of creamy texture of them. So the more frozen ingredients you have in your smoothie, the better the chance that they'll like them and that you will like them. Makes them more palatable. So what I've done is I've frozen my coconut water, some coconut water into trays. This is green tea, another hint. A liquid base that we'll be using that I've frozen some up as well. You could also do ginger tea, any other type of liquid. I don't suggest a milk, but any sort of clear liquid that you want to use. It just prevents the watering down effect of ice cubes, but of course ice cubes are a great addition to and something to have on hand, so just frozen water in the freezer. You can do up a couple trays of those. Again, put them in a Ziploc bag or in a container and keep them for easy access in your freezer. The next items that I wanted to walk through with you are just some coconut water is a great base for a liquid, so maybe we'll be using some of those, or it's a common ingredient. I just wanted to identify it for you. And another one is nut milk. So this is a Plentiful Plates smoothie challenge. So what we won't be using in this in the smoothies that we make are things like cow's milk, any dairy, so yogurt, Greek yogurt, that type of thing won't be used in it, which is that these are typical ingredients you'll see in a lot of smoothie recipes. What we will be using are nut-based milks. This is a cashew milk that I just have on hand. A really simple milk to make. You can, you know what, I'll do a video on it later in the smoothie challenge. If you're interested, you want to challenge yourself to make your own nut milk, I'll walk you through that process. It's so simple. Actually, it's more simple than making a smoothie. So cashew milk, almond milk, soy milk, if you like that, are all options in the grocery store as well. So you can buy them in the Gable Top, in the cold section, or you can buy the Tetra packs like this. You want to look for ones that have the least amount of ingredients, preferably organic, non-GMO, that type of thing. But I'm not going to be picky. We're doing a challenge, so whatever is easiest for you to acquire, please use that. So these are the sources of healthy fats, of protein, of fiber that are going to help slow down the sugar rush that you can get when you're taking a smoothie. Often we'll use flax seeds. These are ground flax seeds. You need to have them ground because whole flax seeds aren't digestible and they'll just pass right through us. So in order to get the maximum amount of benefit from the flaxseed, you'll want to have it ground. Flax seeds will add a thickening quality to a smoothie, as well as healthy fats, a protein boost, and great source of fiber. Next, we have unsweetened coconut flakes, just a nice flavor to add in there, delicate sweetness, added fiber. Then we have ground almonds. So again, really important to buy them ground because we don't want to tax our blender too much, regardless of what kind of blender you use. I just buy this ground. It incorporates so much easier, thickens the smoothie, adds the protein and healthy fats, doesn't have a strong flavor. If, however, you do have a tree nut allergy or an almond allergy, opt for one of these other boosters. So then we have chia seeds. So chia seeds are these really tiny little seeds. Again, like a flax seed, they gel up when they sit in a liquid. So if you make your smoothie up and let it sit for a few minutes, it'll get that much more jiggly because of the chia seeds in them. And as well, they're a great source of fiber, minerals, as well as protein and healthy fats. And then we have hemp seeds. Hemp seeds blend up really nicely. They're a really sort of soft seed, great source of protein, of healthy fats, and fiber as well, and also a local and like Canadian product, so it's really great to include that in there. So you might add that to your smoothies throughout the challenge. And then at the back row here, we have our sweeteners. So often I will use medjool dates. They're a really great source of fiber, trace minerals, and there's no pit in this one, but normally there's a pit in them that you'll want to take out, and it is imperative that you take that pit out because it will wreck your blender blade, and they don't chop up well. So it looks like that. Take that out. If you're using something smaller, like not a high-speed blender, or if you're using something like these individual blenders, you might want to soak these. You can soak them and drain them and keep them in your refrigerator so they soften up like a dried fruit does when you soak them. It just makes them blend up that much easier. And then we have maple syrup, which is a great natural Canadian sourced sweetener, as well as raw honey. And another thing that's going to cut that sugar rush, as you might have seen it when I was preparing the package, are vegetables. So this is baby spinach. Really, if you're not used to having greens or vegetables in your smoothie, it's a really great gateway green, if you will, to get you started on it. So they blend up really nicely. Put them in. So you start with when you make a smoothie, start with the liquid, add the greens then, because that will make sure your blades get right attached to them and will blend them right up, and you won't be drinking your salad. But it has a really mild flavor, and you shouldn't be able to detect it, especially once we have the sweeteners and the fruits that we incorporate with it. So kale is also a nice option, baby kale, if you don't want to quite go with such a strong flavor. Swiss chard is another green, but included in the smoothie challenge, I think you'll find some vegetables that you might not normally incorporate in a smoothie. Something like a zucchini or an avocado, also really great ingredients for smoothies. So I want to take this last minute just to show you that you can make a smoothie in whatever you have on hand. If you have if you don't have a blender yourself, maybe borrow your neighbors. Challenge them to participate with you. Maybe they'll make your smoothies for you. You buy the ingredients. So there are lots of great appliances that you can use in addition to the Vitamix or the Blendtec high-speed blenders. You can use a traditional blender if you have that in your kitchen. A lot of people have these. They're really rather inexpensive option if you could go to a hardware store, a superstore, a department store to grab these. This is a NutriBullet. This is the Magic Bullet single shot, but this was what I used exclusively before I got my high-speed blender in my kitchen. You can also use an immersion blender, which is like the wand type that people sometimes use for soups or sauces, that type of thing that you put right in the stock pot. You can do that in a bigger bowl and use that. I have a video on my YouTube channel. You can check that out from last year to show you it really does work. And if in a pinch you don't have a blender, access to a blender, try a food processor. So I'm just going to make one here in the my NutriBullet. So today I'm making one that is a little bit like green your colada we had in last year's smoothie challenge. I'm starting off with 1 cup of coconut water, and then we're going to use our freezer pack that we prepared ahead of time. So if this was frozen, I might be able to just dump that into my big blender, but let's just use our hands here. So I have my greens, and what I'm going to do with this one is I'm going to do this first and then add my frozen ingredients just to make sure that things blend up really nicely. Excuse the pulsing, I'll pause and bring it up. So see the greens quite nicely. That was about 20 seconds there. And then you want to carefully add in your frozen ingredients. So here I have the banana and the pineapple and the last few pieces of spinach that got away from me. And that's going to get blended up now. Yum. Okay, so now I'm going to add a little bit of sweetness into this. Even though I have pineapple and banana in here, let's just add in, I'm going to add in a little bit of coconut, right? Tablespoon. I add about 2 tablespoons of boosters generally. I'm going to add some hemp seed in here with this. And then let's add in, I already have a date hulled here. So the pits are out, they're going right in. And pop that on one last time and make sure that these get incorporated. All right, so had I soaked that date, it probably would have blended up a little bit easier. So take that into consideration if you're using your NutriBullet. But we'll blend up really nicely now. Pour this, drink it right out of here if you like. Pour it into a nice, see how creamy and smooth that is. And there is an example of a Plentiful Plate smoothie. And if you have any questions, please do give me a shout. And if you have any questions you want to ask to the broader community, we're going to be using that Facebook page, the Plentiful Plate Smoothie Challenge Facebook page, as a way of communicating, of sharing our experiences, of talking about how much we love the smoothies, what we did to make them even better, how much your family is loving them, how you're feeling throughout. So there'll be challenges, questions. I hope to be on there daily to interact with you as we embark on this delicious Plentiful Plate Smoothie a Day challenge. Thanks. That's good.